right? I remember when, color was all one color, then highlighting was all one highlight. And then when they started adding the 2 or 3 and they were chunky, so it'd be blonde, red, brown, blonde, red, brown. And so, I mean, it was the start of it. Sort of like the first ombre was a solid line right here, it was like brown, blonde with a solid line. So I love seeing the trends come in hard, then soften, then blend a little. And I'll never forget, we were at a cutting color training with Scott Cole and Linda Yotici for Paul Mitchell. And Linda, you think that these, I guess I know now, but a lot of times you think like, how do these geniuses come up with this stuff? Well, they mess up. That's how they come up with some of this stuff. And I remember Linda saying, so I said, oh, that's so cool how you put the 2 different colors in. How do you choose? She said, well, it all started when a girl asked me for some highlights and lowlights. And I was like, oh, God, I don't know if I should do this low light or this low light. So I just did them both. I figured if I put them both in there along with the highlight, now I have 3 colors. I could even charge a little more. I'm charging more because I'm not sure which one to use. So out of my unsureness of doing this color, I'm making more money. And she thinks it's fancy. Now the other stylists are coming over and like, Linda, you have so many bowls on your station. You must be a genius. How do you know they'll all go together? She's thinking, well, I didn't know which one to pick, so I just picked them all. And it did look amazing. I had no idea, but I just didn't know what to do. And I thought that's a fascinating way to learn. And so it gave me a lot of clues into consultations because I thought, you know what? I took that and took it a step further during a consultation. And when I think I understand what somebody wants, I say, listen, I think I've got what you want. You've showed me a picture, but let's say we don't quite hit the target and we go a little off. Which way is okay to go a little off? A little lighter or a little darker? Well,
always go lighter. You can always.
Well, I know why you're saying that, but if I'm asking a client, I just want to get a feel for how conservative or liberal they are with their color, and sometimes they're like, oh, darker. Now I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe we were going too light altogether anyway. But yeah, I agree with you there because you can always tone it down darker, way easier than having to.
Way easier than bumping it up.
Yeah,
way
I
easier.
agree. You want to go into more detail about why that is? I think that would help a lot of newer hairdressers.
And that's the 2 main things we're going to be talking about is white versus blue versus charcoal. And then the other thing we're going to be talking about is exactly what you're asking right here. We have the same, what I'm about to say about hair color transfers over into hair extensions. We have the same identical conversation about hair extensions all the time. Okay. Your hair can only retain so much pigment. And when you lift and lighten it out the first time you do it, you're getting all nice, even. You're pulling everything out. Then you go in afterwards and you tone it. And you can't tell me like, oh, I just don't tone. I only lift to the level I want. You're still finishing that process somehow with a conditioner afterwards or something at the shampoo bowl. And if you're not, then you don't realize your client is finishing that process for you at home, whether they want to or not, because you've got softeners in the water, you've got iron, you've got salts and chlorides and chlorines and all that other things, right? So if you're not toning or completing the lightening process at the salon, then at home, it is getting deposited a layer of crap on their hair. Now, they come back next time and you're going to try to lift through that again. There's a layer that you have to break through that's going to fight the hell out of you. And the only way that's going to go is straight to orange, straight to brass. Okay. So when you're trying to lift, when you're trying to lighten, you want to, if you have to, if you can't get a clean lift, over lighten is way safer, because when you lift somebody up, say you're going from a level 5, level 6, we'll just use the average person as a level 5, 6, or 7, okay? And you're trying to lift them to like a level 8, level 9. Let's not even say anything too crazy. Let's just go something basic. And even if you're going in with a 10 vol or a 20 vol with a powder, simple, you process them for 30 minutes, simple. The average thing most 95% of the stylists are doing, right?
Right.
If you hit that level 8, if you don't break through level 8 and get to the contributing pigment at level 9, you are so screwed. Everybody knows that pain. Everybody knows that pain because you go, you wash it out, you bring them back. They're way too brassy. That's got that orangey reddish or that orangey goldish.
It'll be lighter when I shampoo it. I mean, when I dry it, it'll be lighter when I dry it, right?
Right? Come outside by the window. It's the lighting in here. Come outside by the window.
Yeah.
Here's a blue shampoo. We've all given all those excuses. How many times have I told you don't drink coffee, before you get your hair done? I don't know. We come up with the craziest things. The problem is they didn't get past through that level 8, that level of brass. It's the gatekeeping level between staying in the light browns and dark blondes versus a true perfect blondes. Now, you go back in and you try to lift over that after you've just freshly lifted that and you missed your mark. What a lot of people don't get, you started from a level 5, 6, 7, and now you've lifted them to a level 8. Now you're trying to lift them from a level 8 and lighter. That's your current baseline. Mm-hmm. There isn't as much pigment for the powder and the peroxide to dissolve. Okay, that's the action of powder and developers, to break down and remove the natural melanin from the hair. Artificial pigment does not get removed. It only gets broken down and shrunken. It doesn't get completely removed from the hair like natural melanin does. So your brassiness just gets brassier. And at that point, how much more lightening and lifting you can get is 100% determined by whatever condition is left in the porosity and healthiness of the hair. Because at that point, you're either going to turn blonde, white, or snap. And every colorist knows that. Snap, right? You how many times have you done a highlight? You take them to shampoo bowl, you bring them back to the chair, you start brushing them out, and all of a sudden, as you're brushing through their highlights, some of those are coming off in the comb, and you're sitting there trying to do one of these while the client's not paying attention. You're trying to pick their hairs.
Are you saying it's better to get as light as you can on the first lightning instead of trying to get it on the second one?
Always. Yeah. Yeah. You really, really do. That's why I say if you have to make a choice, if you're not confident that you can achieve the correct level of lift that you want, over lighten rather than under lighten.
Pump up the volume or pump up the time?
40 volume all day, baby. Really? I'm not a believer. People are going to argue with me on this one. This is my opinion.
I think 30 and 40 volume are way underused.
I think so as well, too. And this is, again, my opinion, okay? This idea of letting the lightener sit all day, an hour, 2 hours. Yes, with 10 volume, as long as you can keep it activated, you will get all that lift, and that is fine. And it works. I'm not contesting that at all. I agree. But if you time it correctly, you don't need lightener sitting on the hair all day.